What happens when two K-drama actors become so controversial, awkward, or tied to a scandal that fans know they'll probably never work together again? In an industry where reunions happen all the time, some pairings seem completely impossible now. Today we're looking at the K-drama actors whose reunions are most likely never happening ever again, and why. Number 6. Hye-sun, Jae-hyun, and Yeon-seo. What happens when a real-life K-drama romance turns into one of the most public celebrity divorces in Korea? Hye-sun and Jae-hyun met the way so many K-drama love stories start, on set, playing two people falling in love. The drama was Blood, a medical fantasy about a vampire doctor. Hye-sun was already hugely famous after Boys Over Flowers, while Jae-hyun was the rising actor starring opposite her. The chemistry clearly worked because just a year later, they got married. Fans genuinely thought this was one of those rare, real-life K-drama happy endings. Then 2019 happened, and suddenly, the fairy tale turned into one of the messiest public celebrity divorces Korea had seen in years. What made the situation unforgettable wasn't just the breakup itself, it was how public everything became. Hye-sun started posting screenshots of private conversations on social media, claiming Jae-hyun had grown tired of the marriage and wanted out while she still wanted to protect their family. Some of the messages were painfully personal, and the entire internet ended up watching their marriage collapse in real time. Then things got even more chaotic when Hye-sun accused Jae-hyun of having an affair with a co-star from the drama he was filming at the time. She never said the name outright, but because Yeon-seo was his female lead on that project, a series called People with Flaws, the public instantly assumed it was her, and her name got pulled into the controversy. Yeon-seo strongly denied any involvement and was reportedly furious about being connected to the situation at all. Her agency publicly announced it would take legal action against Hye-sun for spreading false claims. Meanwhile, Jae-hyun pushed back against Hye-sun's claims, saying parts of the story were being distorted and revealing that he had struggled with depression during the final year of their marriage. By the time the divorce was finalized in 2020, the damage was already done. Jae-hyun's public image took a major hit, while Hye-sun eventually stepped away from acting, focused on school, filmmaking, and rebuilding her life away from the spotlight. But after the screenshots, the accusations, and the entire country basically reading their private texts over breakfast, yeah, the chances of Hye-sun and Jae-hyun ever working together again feel practically non-existent. Number 5. Kim Jung-hyun, Seohyun, and Seo-ye-ji. This is one of the rare K-drama controversies where people didn't just hear about the awkwardness, they actually watched it happen in real time. Back in 2018, Kim Jung-hyun and Seohyun starred together in the melodrama Time, a tragic romance about a man trying to make up for ruining a woman's life before his own time runs out. It was supposed to be emotional, romantic, and deeply chemistry-driven. But even before the drama aired, something already felt off. At the press conference, Seohyun tried to link arms with Kim Jung-hyun during photos, a completely normal thing for co-stars to do. But he immediately pulled away, stood there stiffly, and even walked off stage ahead of the cast afterward. The clip instantly went viral because everyone could feel the tension through the screen. At the time, Kim Jung-hyun simply said he was staying in character for the role. Years later, people found out that wasn't the real reason. In 2021, Dispatch released text messages allegedly exchanged between Kim Jung-hyun and his then-girlfriend actress Seo-ye-ji. According to the messages, Seo-ye-ji reportedly told him to avoid physical contact and romantic scenes with Seohyun during filming. She allegedly instructed him to act stiff, avoid skinship entirely, and even minimize interactions with female staff members. Reports also claimed Kim Jung-hyun personally requested changes to romantic scenes in the script, resulting in multiple moments between the leads being removed or altered. And suddenly, that awkward press conference made a lot more sense. The controversy exploded even further because the situation reportedly caused major difficulties behind the scenes. The production had to constantly adjust scripts. Seohyun was said to have struggled emotionally during filming, and Kim Jung-hyun eventually left the drama before it even finished airing due to health-related issues. To his credit, Kim Jong-hyun later issued a handwritten apology directly to Seohyun and the production staff, admitting responsibility for his behavior and saying he had no excuses. Seohyun, meanwhile, stayed remarkably professional throughout the entire controversy and never publicly attacked him. But the person whose career took the biggest hit was Seo Ye-ji. At the time the texts surfaced, she was at the peak of her popularity following It's Okay to Not Be Okay. But after the allegations of controlling behavior became public, endorsements disappeared, projects were delayed, and her public image took a massive blow almost overnight. She later apologized publicly as well. And truthfully, after everything that happened here, it's almost impossible to imagine any of these three working together again. Kim Jong-hyun and Seohyun are forever tied to that painfully awkward press conference clip, while Kim Jong-hyun and Seo Ye-ji's relationship became one of the most controversial celebrity scandals of that entire year. Once audiences saw what happened behind the scenes, there was really no going back. Number 4. So-hee, Hyeri, and Jun-yeol. Most K-drama celebrity breakups happen quietly. A short agency statement gets released, everyone supports each other's future activities, and the story disappears in a week. This one did the exact opposite. In early 2024, actors Jun-yeol and So-hee were suddenly confirmed to be dating, not long after news broke that Jun-yeol had ended his long-term relationship with Hyeri, his girlfriend of several years and one of Korea's most beloved actresses, after Reply 1988. And almost immediately, the internet started questioning the timeline. Then, Hyeri posted a short Instagram story that many people interpreted as shade toward the new relationship. It was brief, but online, everyone understood what she was implying. And instead of staying silent, So-hee responded publicly herself, posting comments and messages that quickly turned the situation into one of the biggest celebrity controversies of that year. For days, the entire internet basically watched the drama unfold in real time through Instagram posts, deleted captions, statements, and fan reactions. So-hee, in particular, became heavily criticized for responding emotionally and publicly, instead of letting the agencies handle things privately. And really, the craziest part? The relationship didn't even last. Just weeks after confirming they were dating, agencies announced that So-hee and Jun-yeol had already broken up. The relationship at the center of all the controversy ended almost as quickly as it began. Later on, So-hee admitted she regretted letting her emotions take over publicly and acknowledged how much stress the entire situation caused. But after all the Instagram drama, the public tension, and the way the controversy completely consumed Korean entertainment news for weeks, it's very hard to imagine So-hee and Hyeri ever appearing together in a project. Some celebrity tensions slowly fade over time. This one exploded in front of millions of people all at once. Number 3. Jung-jae and Kim Min-hee. Long before Squid Game turned Jung-jae into a global superstar, he was part of one of Korea's most famous celebrity couples. Back in the 2000s, Jung-jae and Kim Min-hee were considered one of the industry's it couples, glamorous, famous, and constantly in the spotlight. At the time, Jung-jae was already a huge star, while Kim Min-hee was rapidly building a reputation as one of the most talented actresses of her generation. But eventually, the relationship ended. And according to reports over the years, Kim Min-hee was the one who chose to walk away. Rumors at the time claimed Jung-jae took the breakup especially hard, with people close to the situation describing him as deeply affected by it for quite a while afterward. Frankly, if that was the whole story, this probably wouldn't even make the list. What permanently changed everything was what happened years later. In 2015, Kim Min-hee starred in the film Right Now, Wrong Then, directed by acclaimed filmmaker Hong Sang-soo. Soon after, rumors began spreading that the two were in a relationship, despite the fact that Hong Sang-soo was married at the time. In 2017, the couple publicly confirmed the relationship themselves, and the backlash in Korea was massive. Kim Min-hee's mainstream career took a huge hit almost overnight. Endorsements disappeared, public opinion turned harshly against her, and she gradually stepped away from commercial dramas and films almost entirely. Instead, she continued working mainly in Hong Sang-soo's smaller art house projects shown at international film festivals. Meanwhile, Lee Jung-jae's career went in the complete opposite direction. He became one of the biggest Korean actors in the world thanks to Squid Game, entered Hollywood, and reached a level of global fame few actors ever achieve. And in truth, at this point, the two almost feel like they exist in completely different entertainment industries. It's not even about personal drama anymore. Their careers, public images, and professional worlds have moved so far apart that the idea of them ever working together again feels nearly impossible. Number 2. Lee Byung-hun and Song Hye-kyo. Before Song Hye-kyo became one half of some of Korea's most famous celebrity marriages and breakups, there was one relationship fans still cannot forget more than 20 years later. Back in 2003, Song Hye-kyo and Lee Byung-hun met while filming the hit drama All In, a massive rating success that turned them into one of the hottest couples in the country almost overnight. At the time, Song Hye-kyo was only 22 and already beloved after Autumn in My Heart, while Lee Byung-hun was an established movie star over a decade older than her. And unlike a lot of celebrity rumors back then, this relationship was completely public. Their agencies confirmed they were dating, they attended events together, appeared openly affectionate in public, and quickly became one of Korea's most talked about couples. For many fans, Lee Byung-hun is still considered Song Hye-kyo's most iconic ex, but eventually, the relationship quietly fell apart. There was no cheating scandal or explosive controversy tied directly to their breakup. Reports at the time mostly pointed to busy schedules, career pressures, and the reality that they were simply at very different stages in life. Lee Byung-hun was beginning to aim toward Hollywood projects, while Song Hye-kyo was balancing non-stop drama productions at the peak of her early fame. Still, even after they separated, the public never really let go of the relationship. And it became even more complicated years later when Lee Byung-hun found himself involved in a major controversy in 2014 involving an attempted blackmail case tied to private conversations. Although the women involved were ultimately prosecuted, the scandal heavily affected his public image at the time, especially because his wife, actress Lee Min-jung, was pregnant during the controversy. Despite everything, Lee Byung-hun rebuilt his reputation and eventually became globally famous again through Squid Game, while Song Hye-kyo remained one of Korea's most respected actresses through dramas like Descendants of the Sun and The Glory. But what's fascinating is that the public still connects them constantly, even decades later. In 2025, during an awards ceremony tribute to Song Hye-kyo, cameras briefly showed Lee Byung-hun in the audience, and the internet immediately exploded with reactions. That's how deeply people still associate them with each other. And when you think about it, that might be exactly why they'll probably never work together again. You cannot recreate a first love as a work assignment. Some pairings are too loaded with history to ever be just a job. Number 1. Song Joong-ki and Song Hye-kyo. If there's one K-drama pairing that fans know is never, ever coming back, it's this one. In 2016, Descendants of the Sun became more than just a hit drama, it became a cultural phenomenon. Across Asia and beyond, audiences fell in love with the romance between Captain Yoo Si-jin and Dr. Kang Mo-yeon, played by Song Joong-ki and Song Hye-kyo. The chemistry felt so natural that fans started wondering if there was something real happening behind the scenes. There was. In 2017, the two announced they were getting married, turning one of the most beloved K-drama romances ever into a real-life love story. Their wedding became one of the biggest entertainment events in Korea, and the couple quickly earned the nickname the Song couple. For a while, it genuinely felt like a fairy tale. Then, less than 2 years later, it was over. In June 2019, it ended the way almost no one saw coming. Song Joong-ki filed for divorce through his lawyer, and his statement asked for a quiet, amicable end with no blame on either side. But the situation around them was anything but quiet. According to South Korean media reports, the filing was abrupt and one-sided. Song Hye-kyo reportedly learned that her marriage was effectively over from the news, the same as everyone else. The announcement broke the internet in Korea within minutes, dominating nearly every search ranking in the country. And almost instantly, the speculation turned ugly. Rumors of infidelity spread in every direction. Song Hye-kyo's recent co-star Park Bo-gum, who also happened to be one of Song Joong-ki's closest friends and a label mate at the same agency, was dragged into baseless affair rumors, forcing his side to issue a firm denial and begin legal action. Both camps ended up pursuing legal action against the flood of malicious posts, while fans split into warring sides, some blaming her, some blaming him. Through all of it, neither Song Joong-ki nor Song Hye-kyo ever revealed what actually went wrong. The only official reason was a difference in personality, and the marriage was dissolved in a court mediation that reportedly lasted just a few minutes. But what makes this story land differently isn't only the mess of how it ended, it's the finality of what came after. Both stars completely moved on. Song Joong-ki remarried actress Katie Saunders and started a family. Song Hye-kyo returned to acting and delivered some of the strongest performances of her career, particularly in The Glory. By all accounts, both seem happy and successful. But unlike many famous K-drama pairings, this is one reunion fans simply don't expect. Think about it. Even other iconic dramas from the same era still leave room for reunions. Fans can dream about the Goblin cast sharing the screen again. People still talk about seeing Gong-yoo and Kim Go-yeon reunite in another project. Those possibilities still feel exciting. Song Joong-ki and Song Hye-kyo are different. The relationship became too real, too public, and too important to an entire generation of K-drama fans. Any future project would instantly become about their marriage and divorce rather than the story itself. So that wraps up our list. Which of these pairings do you think hurts the most to lose? Tell me in the comments, and tell me which one you would still, secretly, want to see share a screen one more time. Click on this next video to find out what happened to some of the most famous K-drama couples after their relationships came to an end.